Oh, we are recording. It's amazing. Good morning, Texas, and everyone beyond Texas. Uh, do you know what week we're on, you guys? We are on week 36 of the year. And if you're counting down and you're imagining December is a work month, kind of with all of the holidays. However, what do we also have in December? We have all of the fun of the holidays, but all of the work that goes to 2025. So really we have until November to get this going for ourselves. And so we have like what, 14 weeks left? So 13 as of next week. So just start counting down. Every week counts, which is why we're here today. Every week counts. Anybody have any shout outs, any gratitude that they want to share this morning as we get started or before we get started? Think, think, think. Anyone you want to shout out? Anyone you want to show gratitude for? Boom, boom, boom. All right. I'm going to show gratitude for Kevin Vorbeck over in Bryan College Station. The reason for that, I saw that he closed number 12 for the year, which is super exciting because, number 12 is kind of important around here. It unlocks some stuff. It unlocks a revenue share and it unlocks stock opportunities. So way to go, Kevin. That's really cool. Really cool. Kevin and Jaime are kicking butt over there. So we love it. We love it. Elizabeth, yes, ma'am. Good morning. Love your hair, by the way.
Oh, thanks. Hello. I want to shout out Ron Nell, who's on our team on the South Side on Dana's team. He set a buy sell appointment yesterday from a market report that from someone who I don't know who they used to be, and it was like a pond, like lead kind of thing. So awesome for him. But he also completed the 5,000 challenge, 5,000 dial challenge, and he started on the team. I think July 1st. I'm on my phone, so I can't tell. So like he's started right away, but also he was actually referred to me before he even, I think he met with Dana and then he met with me the next day, unbeknownst that we were on the same team because of YP. He just like when he first got licensed, just wanted to surround himself by people that were doing what he wants to do. So I just think it's just like amazing initiative of him, and it's already paying off. So I wanted to definitely shout him out for not only hard work but also having like big goals. And he's young, like I don't know, in early 20s.
I love that. I love that. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, that is very cool. And to only be in here a couple months, that's phenomenal. I love it. I love it. There is only one announcement that I have, and if you have any others, just pop your hand up so I don't miss you. But the Brendan Burchard is doing his coaching with Place. And you know what's funny is last time I thought, you know what, I'm too busy for this. I've got too much going on. Anybody ever feel like they're too busy or they have too much going on? Okay, there's a couple of you. Everybody else, maybe you need to get busy, or maybe, you're just tuning in right now and you didn't hear my question. But I distinctly remember I was like, no, I got too much going on. And then I was like, I don't know, I'll just put my headphones on and just like kind of work in the background. And it was such a good call. And I was like, I'm not missing this again. There's a reason Brendan gets paid the money he does. And there's a reason that I by myself would not be able to pay him like 500,000 a year just to hear his content. So anyway, it's in the chat, the link, and if you just jumped in, I'll relink it again. But this is next Wednesday, so don't miss it. Okay, so this morning, I love how Elizabeth kind of like set us up. Um, since something from the pond, blah blah blah. I love that. I'm gonna spotlight a friend of mine here. Hello, Mister. Let's see. I'm gonna spotlight you right there, and then oh, fantastic. Okay. So we have a conversation this morning, and I want to kind of just like let you guys know where I'm coming from. I was talking to one of our place leaders, Landon Stone, and he told me a story about one of his agents. And I was like, no way. And I wanted to feature this agent today on our Texas Power Up with three goals, right? Number one, I want us to be inspired by it. Number two, I want us to execute, right? Take away any scripts that could work for you here in Texas. And number three, maybe just refresh your mindset on working your Brivity database. And so I want to welcome this gentleman in front of us, Devonte, right?
Yes, that's correct.
I love the color of your shirt. Way to
Well, thank you.
go. We're starting off really well. Um, you set 8 appointments, you signed three, all in 1 week. And here's the kicker, you guys. He did it by cleaning up overdue tasks in agents' databases that had left the team
And mine, myself.
and yourself. So I want to get the story on all of that. But before we do that, lay the groundwork for us. Like, where do you sell real estate? Like, where are you located? Where can we put you on a map?
Yes, so I mostly service I guess, the greater Triad area of North Carolina. So mostly I'm servicing Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem, and like those surrounding areas surrounding that.
I love that. I love that.
Yes.
And what's your story? Like, before you got into real estate, what were you doing? And then how'd you get into real estate?
Yes. So before I got into real estate, I would say I got into real estate in 2018 is when I got my license. And prior to that, I was a personal chef and also running restaurants as well. My wife and I, we met in culinary school. So that's was our kind of we met in culinary school in 2014. I graduated, like I said, we traveled around cooking in these different restaurants. But then in 2017, I guess I saw the quote that 90% of all millionaires make their first million in real estate, and that's why it kind of like sparked something in me to where it's like, okay, well, I do want a life of abundance. I know that I don't want to just work in kitchens for the rest of my life. I want to potentially either own a kitchen or I really enjoyed the personal chefing aspect of it as far as going into people's houses and giving private dinner parties and just really showcasing and really having that intimate relationship with people. But in 2018, when we got married, I made a promise to myself and to her because when we got married, on the day we got married, I had $120.13 to my name. And she said
Wow.
that whether we are rich or whether we are poor in this life, as long as we have each other, that is all that matters. So that's something that I always reflect back on because it's like she took a chance on me. She took a chance on me. And it's like real estate is what's really going to give me the life that I want to give her. So that's why I got my license the same year. And I eventually, in 2022 is when I joined the team with Landon because I wasn't making any money up until the years leading to that. And, the pandemic and all that's happened. And she sat me down and she's like, look, I know you don't want to join the team, but you need to put your pride aside. And 0% of 100 is still zero. So when it comes to your commission splits, we either need to figure this out or you're going to have to make a choice and either choose cooking or choose real estate. And like I internally had to sit down and was like, well, real estate's how I'm going to make it work as far as be able to provide for her. So that's when I put my pride aside. I joined Landon, and for the past 2 years, I've had the best years in real estate that I've ever had.
Oh my God, I love your story. I think we're all kind of loving your story right now. That's phenomenal. Good for you. Good for you.
Thank you.
Just okay. I love it. Okay, so then you got into real estate. That's been going well. And Landon wanted to put someone on the task of cleaning up not only your own, but also overdue tasks from agents that maybe for one reason or another left the team. And then you set some appointments, you signed some of them. It was a pretty good week for you. If you're okay with it, like, let's just jump into that and just tell us how that happened. Like, walk us through, like, how'd you go about that? And then I'll probably pepper in some like direct
Sure.
questions.
Oh, of course. So I feel like this all kind of came the week after Chris's partner call with the I'm a corporate athlete.
Mm,
And when he spoke at the end of it, and he was talking about the swimmer and their coach, and how the coach brought the swimmer out the water and asked the swimmer the three questions of why do you do it, who are you doing it for, and who loves you?
mm,
So I had to really sit down and really realize that I have to answer those questions for myself, but also look at what's going on around me as far as pretty much all the agents that were here, they're gone. And now I can either look at it as in I may be leaving two type of situation as far as being reactive to my environment, or I like The Wolf of Wall Street. It's one of my favorite movies. So, or I can say that I'm not effing leaving, and I can say that I'm going to figure this out. I'm still going to figure this out regardless because I'm on the ground floor. I'm on the ground floor of something beautiful. Is how you just have to kind of look at things at times. So I think that that's pretty much how that goes.
okay, I love that. I love that you brought that up, you guys, because my team watched a video this week for one of our power ups. I'm going to link it right here. Don't watch it now because that's going to be super awkward that you're like watching this and watching that. But you can watch it later today or whenever. It's right on this exact topic. There will be people on your left and people on your right, and you'll look up months from now, years from now, and they might not be there, right? Because you can't control what Deanna or Jesus or Elizabeth or DJ, you can't control what they're doing, right? Like DJ was paying 1,900 a month in HOAs, right? Some people are not going to pay 1,900 a month. At one point, he decided he's not paying 1,900 a month in HOAs, right? Like there are choices we all make. And sometimes they're awesome choices, and you're like, high five. I love the people that I'm sitting next to, and they're like on this journey with you. Sometimes, right? Like to Devonte's point, people show up and they decide this isn't what they're going to do, right? And he decided this is what he's going to beep do, and he took advantage of it. That's a really good mindset. So mindset going into actually doing the calls. What was that like for you?
Um, yeah, so I feel like with me, I'm one of those realtors that I would rather be on the phones making calls than to be out like knocking doors. I've always felt like circle prospecting and just calling in general is kind of like my bread and butter. It's what I enjoy doing as far as I like talking to people, just like seeing different scenarios, seeing what's going on. And I felt as though my first year of being on the team, I really had to get rid of the call reluctancy aspect of
How'd you do
not
that?
really just by being thrown into the deep end and just doing a lot of circle prospecting, a lot of just realizing that it's a numbers game at the end of the day. Like you're gonna call all of the you're gonna call a list of people. There are going to be some conversations that you don't want to get off the phone with the people. And I love those type of conversations when I'm just vibing with the person on the other end of the phone. And there's also the times on the complete opposite end to where it's like, you know what? This call is not going well. But then at the same time, I heard recently that you can use those times as like open mic times. It's like, well, you know what? I'm probably never going to speak to this person again. So let me, like, I try to shift my mindset into like the mindset of a comedian and just look at parallels because it's like they go through the same thing we kind of go through. So it's like if they're bombing on stage and they're like, well, this isn't going good. Let me try to shift the energy. That's when I try to add more of just my personality into scripts or just into a conversation. And it's like, well, if they hang up, I'll never speak to them again. So it's what's the risk? Like, why am I so upset? And then a lot of times it's like whenever I'm calling somebody and say that they're having a bad day or they yell or they're like, why are you calling me? I always just have to tell myself that, this could just be a projection of their crappy day, of, what they have going on. You never know I know that I'm calling you out the blue. And I even say that. It's like, I understand. I know I'm just the voice on the other end of the phone. I'm just calling you out the blue. So I have to kind of disassociate myself from like my own personal feelings and just realize that I'm just calling, just seeing if I can help you, seeing if there's anything that I can assist you with. And one of the things that really helps me just with calling in general is that I really see the value in what I'm speaking with people about as far as when I'm calling around and I'm asking someone, I'm calling to see if you know anybody's looking to move into the area, or just I saw that you recently viewed your market report. Like, do you have any questions about it, or do you have any questions about real estate in general? And people are like, no, I don't have any questions about it, or no, I'm good. I was like, okay, well, have you ever given thought to potentially getting an investment property? Or I'm always trying to use inceptions and use just like me adding ideas into their head. It's like, because let me ask you this. How long have you owned your home? I get that you don't want to sell, and you're like, I've owned it for 10 years. I was like, okay, so that's 10 years worth of equity that you've built every single month you've made your mortgage payment. Have you ever considered potentially taking out a home equity line of credit? And say that you take out $30,000, say that you use 10,000 of that to fix up your current home, make some minor changes, cosmetics. We can get that home ready to be rented out, and then you can use the other 20,000 as a down payment to buy the next home you want to move into. So I'm always just trying to add those type of just thoughts into people's heads, give them ideas that they may have not even thought about. And that's really how I've been able to set so many appointments, is because I honestly tell my story a lot when I'm speaking with people. And I can tell you that in a moment.
You know what I love about this? It's you are educating them without like feeling like a teacher to me. Like when you were saying, have you ever thought about, how long have you been in your home? Have you considered, right? Like these are value adds that it's not about your paycheck. You may get a paycheck in the process, but it truly is about helping them. Okay, so then I'm going to go back to, if you were calling or when you were calling other people's leads, right? Like leads that you didn't actually put in your database, right? People in the pond or people who, were leads of someone who had left. How did you have that conversation? Was it awkward? Because these people had never heard from you, right?
Mhm. Correct.
How'd you go about that? Like, what were you saying to them?
Yeah, so really, the new Brevity dialer is quite amazing, honestly and truly, the updates that we have. And what I essentially have done was I go through the day of the life of Brevity. So I click the first one, which are our new leads and hot leads and things like that. And then I click a different agent who's gone. And then I've set a call list and I just start calling.
And then when you
So
call, what would you say?
yeah, so I'm like, hello, this is Devonte Freeman from the Borough Realty Group. I'm just checking in with you. I know that you spoke with a member of my team, Eliza, probably like a year ago, and that you were looking at homes in Winston-Salem. I'm just checking in. Did you end up finding a home, or are you still looking at this time? Just trying to get an update on your timeline and seeing how we can assist you. And
I
then,
love that. Getting an update on your timeline. That's good.
mhm.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah, and then they would say that, well, we've kind of put things on hold, or whatever the case may be. And I was like, okay, well, in an ideal world, when are you thinking about picking back up the search? And what area are you interested in potentially moving into? So I'm always just trying to still add that, like, I get that you don't want to do something right now, but let's talk about hypotheticals. Let's talk about your dream. And it's like, yeah, so if you were to buy a home in Winston-Salem, what would be the top of your budget when it comes to what you're spending, so to speak? And have you spoken with somebody about getting a mortgage? And mostly I speak with a lot of those appointments I set were all first-time home buyers.
I love that.
And I feel like the way that I'm able to really set those appointments, especially when I get them to tell me that this is their first home, I'm like, okay, oh, that's great. That's great because honestly, my wife and I let them know my story. I was like, honestly, my wife and I, we just bought our first home last year, and the lenders that we were able to connect with, and I'm going to connect you with one of our lenders from Envoy Mortgage, but they were able to get us into a first-time home buyers program. And I hear, and especially when people are like, yeah, but the interest rates. And I was like, I get what you're saying about the interest rates, but honestly and truly, you have to think about what makes sense for you and your financial situation currently. Like the reason my wife and I decided to buy last year was because our landlord said that they were going to go up $375 on our rent that we were renting this home for the past 4 years, and it's already gone up $200. So we were going to go up essentially $575 to rent out the same exact home that we were living in. Whereas when you have a mortgage, that's a fixed rate for the next 30 years unless things change. So when it comes to the interest rates, it made sense for us to buy because our actual mortgage was $400 less than what we would have been renting our home out for. And we know that that's going to stay the same, whether interest rates go up or whether they go down, and it's ebbs and flows. When it goes down, that's when we can refinance, we can get a chunk of money, we can then get a better rate slash terms. But for right now, the current rate that we're locked into, that's a lot better than if we were renting, and then we're also building equity. But it's all things that I want us to talk about once we sit down inside my office and really talk about you and your goals. So I'm always trying to just like, I give them information, but also I want to set the appointment as well when it comes to, I want you to have the benefits of things because my ultimate goal, like when I really get to sit down with people in appointments and just kind of tell them more about my story, is that my wife and I, we bought our home last year and we want to live in our home for the next 3 to 4 years potentially. And instead of us selling our home, and I even talk with people on the phone about this as well, instead of us selling our home, we partner with a property management division here in my office. We also have a contracting division here in my office, and we also have a mortgage division here in my office. And I want to utilize these three businesses to really help me in the long run because we're going to stay in our home for the next 3 to 4 years, build equity. We're going to take out a home equity line of credit. We're going to use that as a down payment to buy the next home that we want to move into. And then we're going to rent out our current home, which is right around the university. And we're going to let the rent that we charge pay for the mortgage for that home and pay for partial, if not all of the mortgage for the next home that we're moving into as well. And then I speak with people who they're like, well, I don't know if I want to be a landlord about people tearing up my assets and things like that. And it's like, I get that. I definitely get that. And I'll do you one better. So my plan ultimately is we're going to put our homes inside of an LLC. We're going to put our homes inside of an LLC, and then we're going to connect with a local business, whether that be a university, an airport, a hospital. We're going to connect with a company and have a contract to where they're essentially going to use our home as employee housing. Say that High Point University has a professor coming into town for 3 days, and say that that professor needs a place to stay that's right around the corner. Well, I have a contract with High Point University to where they're going to rent my home out to that professor for 3 days as employee housing. And for the other 4 days inside the contract, I have it at minimum that I'll make $140 a day. So I get paid whether my home is rented out or not. And we want to repeat the process of staying in our home for 3 to 4 years and then pulling a home equity line of credit. We want to do this probably 3 or 4 times to where ultimately we have 4 to 5 assets that are building us money in the long run as far as passive income, but it's also appreciating. And if we ever decide we want to sell a property, we can. But these are things that you don't have access to as a renter. And this is why home ownership is so important. So.
I love everyone picking up on the fact that he is planting seeds, he is storytelling, he is creating a vision for them even before they like, because most renters are not thinking about any of this. I mean, I've rented, I didn't think about this. My parents rented before me, I didn't think about this. Um, and I love the fact that you got over it in your head real quick that like this was a customer service call and it was very much a come from contribution call. So it didn't sound like you really got in your head about making calls to a pond or making calls to agents who weren't here, probably not even in the business anymore, honestly.
Mhm.
But they had spoken to that person at one time. How many people do you think you called that week, just on average? Do you know?
Yeah, that week it was 394
394.
in brevity.
Good for you. Good. Did you get any pushback?
Oh
Did
yeah,
anybody
oh
say
yeah,
like, "Oh, stop calling me," or worse things?
yeah. Stop calling me. Oh yeah, we chose not to work with X, Y, and Z agent for a reason. We don't want to work with your company. And honestly and truly, it's That's like, okay, I understand that. Again, I understand that. I'm not pressuring you. I'm just literally, I'm just the voice on the other end of the phone. I'm just checking in, seeing how I can assist you. And if there's nothing that I can help you with, and if you don't have any friends or family that I can assist, I get it. I won't call you again. But if you ever need anything, my company, we are here. Because we help with buying, selling. We also help with property management as far as if you ever have a home that, so I go back into my, not spiel, but I let them know the value that we bring. Because just because they're not looking at buying or selling, they may be thinking about refinancing, or they may want a deck built onto the side of their home or something like that and don't have that resource. So I'm just literally trying to be a resource. And if you don't want my services, fine. I'm on to the next person because there's someone out there that I can help.
So you called these 394 people, you set some appointments. Some of these appointments, obviously, because you set 8 appointments, three signed with you. What happened to the other five? Because we always focus on the ones that got away. So what happened to those?
Well, they're still in the database, and I'm still trying to like connect with them and still seeing how I can assist them. But the a lot of them, some of them no showed for the appointments. I get that a lot
Okay,
as
so
far
that
as
happens to you too. Oh my gosh, you
oh,
guys.
oh yeah,
It's just
it's
a
it's
numbers game.
it's a numbers game, honestly and truly. It's really just a numbers game, and honestly, I expect it. I expect for people not to show up, even though I've called you the day before and I've texted you also the morning of, and you said everything was good, and then the time for you to be here happens, and I'm calling you, and you're just like, oh yeah, I forgot about that appointment. I was like, we just spoke yesterday.
How do you not take
So,
that personally? How do you not take it personally?
just by knowing that it's a numbers game, and it's like when you're ready, when you're ready. I tell people your timeline is my timeline. Like when you're ready, I'm here for you to be used as a resource however I can be. And if now isn't the right time, well, I'll just check back in at a later date and time, and it may be a better time for you.
What advice do you have for our agents who are working in their Brivity database? It sounds like you have taken it upon yourself to really do a great job working in Brivity. What advice do you have for our agents?
I would say the advice that I have is to really just go in there and really come from a place of service. Come from a place of, instead of just looking at the sale and how this could potentially be money for me, I would say go in your database and look to see who can I help and how can I help them, especially when I think one of the most powerful things for me, just when I'm prospecting, is me knowing the value that I bring to the table, regardless. Me knowing that I'm a realtor, that I can help you with buying and selling, but also I do have a property management division. If that's something that if you're looking at investing, I can help you with that. If you're looking at refinancing, I can help you with that. If you're looking at building, or if you're looking at doing any painting, contracting, I can help you with that as well, and so much more. Even when it comes to, say that you want to buy some land and get a modular home placed on there, and or start little communities, or I'm here to be a resource just to help you. We're partnering together. It's a partnership between you and I to get you to a common goal. So it's
It sounds like, Devonte, that you believe in home ownership. Like that's coming across to me really strong. You believe in home ownership, right? So if you're on this call and you're like, man, I don't actually have that confidence. Number one is, do you believe in home ownership? Because I can sense it from you. Number two, you believe in your value that you're bringing, right? Like your team's value, your brokerage's value. You've identified your 3 to 4 bullet points that are of value that you're able to speak on. So identify your bullet points. Everybody on this call has bullet points. Each of our teams, each of our brokerages, like place as a whole has value. Okay, so give me when you're on the appointment with clients, just because right now you've had some of the best years of your career, which is really awesome. High five to that. When you're on appointments with clients, do you have any advice for that? Like anything that's working well for you?
it still kind of circles back to adding my own story into things, as far as I feel like I'm able to really preach the benefits of home ownership just because I finally owned a home myself as of last year. And I got that. I went through the process with my wife as my client, and I kind of got that real-time experience to where I'm able to go back to that and just add that part into my appointments as well to let them know that this is something that I'm preaching, but it's also something that I'm practicing as well. And the same thing with the story of how I want to get pretty much a fleet of assets and use that as a B2B business to where to fund my life for the long run. When I'm able to add those type of things on how that this is what I'm personally doing as a realtor and something that you also can achieve, you just have to literally get the first asset or whatever the case may be for whatever the appointment is. I'm always just trying to come from a place of value during the appointments. It's like if you don't sign, if I'm not here to force you to sign anything. That's not my goal. My goal is to really see how I can assist you and really just see how what goals you have for yourself and how we can both partner and make them happen. Because it's at the end of the day, it's home ownership is really what's going to drive my wealth in life. And it's also, if I can obtain it, you can obtain it as well.
I
I
love
mean, I get a lot of, especially with a lot of first-time home buyers, they talk about, well, my credit is this, my credit is that. I just don't know where to start. I had an appointment yesterday like that where I signed the buyer because I let them know that, look, right, I get that your credit may be scary right now, or I get that, you may have concerns about it, but it's a reason why you're here in my office today. We're here because you're getting started. This is the process. You have to have a baseline. You have to know where we're going to start to know how we're going to get to the end goal. And that being said, once you speak with one of my lenders from Onboard Mortgage, they're not just going to say that X, Y, and Z, you're not approved because of you're not approved. They're going to say X, Y, and Z, you're not approved, but these are the steps to where that we need to take to be able to get you approved. As far as say that your Capital One card is at a $5,000 balance, once they run your actual credit profile and start this process for you, they're going to then tell you that if you can get that Capital One card down to instead of 5,000, if you can get that down to 3,000, then we can approve you for X, Y, and Z in 6 months. And knowledge is power. So if you know what you have to work on, we then can know what we have to do to get you to home ownership. Even if it's not right now, say that it takes this year, say that it takes 2 years. Your timeline is my timeline. I'm not here to rush you. I'm here, I'm going to be here with you every step of the way. Any questions you have, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to really be your advisor.
I love that you're such a great coach. I can sense it. Um, as we wrap up, any last words of wisdom in, the market that we're in for our agents, anything that you were thinking about? And thank you again, by the way.
Oh, you're welcome. Um, I would say for me, one of my and I can also like send this script to you that I use, but when it comes, yeah, so I got like a just listed script that I use.
Okay.
And this is pretty much how I've been calling around just listeds. And does anybody want to role play with me real quick?
Ooh, who wants to role play? DJ. DJ wants to role play.
Alrighty, DJ, let's do it.
He's my favorite today.
Just today.
Oh, I love it. Okay, DJ, I see you. All right, Devonte, you're up.
All right. So yes, hey DJ, this is Devonte Freeman from the Borough Realty Group. I was calling because my team just listed 1609 Oak Street right around the corner from you. And I'm just checking in with you, just seeing if you had any friends or family looking to move into the area or close by you by chance.
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. What's that house selling for?
Oh yeah, so that one's going for 195,000. That one's a three-bedroom, one bath. It was built in 1939. I know we just completely renovated it, brand new flooring, brand new appliances, brand new everything. But yeah, okay, okay. But you said that you don't know. You said you don't know if you have any friends or family? Hmm. What about
Well,
any enemies, DJ? You got any enemies that you want to move close by you by chance to, you know?
I think I have friends and family. I don't know of anyone that wants to live right here, right now, though.
Okay, I get that. I get that, DJ. I get that. So you think you got friends and family, no one wants to move right now. And then side note, while I'm doing this, I'm also just kind of just talking to him again, reiterating the things that he's saying as well, kind of mirror and matching. And that also gives me time to think about where I'm going to go next with this conversation. But yeah, that's I see in the chat they're saying, you got any enemies? That's been the icebreaker for me. That's really kind of let people's walls go down. Whenever I'm like, so what about any enemies? You got any enemies you want to keep close to you? And people, they either they die laughing or that you hear a chuckle, and I'm like, okay. So once I hear the little chuckle, it's like I got them because I've made them laugh. I've shown them that I'm not just an average realtor just trying to get them to buy or sell. I'm a human on the other end of the phone. So one of the biggest things that I can recommend is just be able to kind of add little icebreakers or keep your scripts as like the roadmap of where you're trying to take the conversation, but how you get there is really up to you. But yeah, but yeah, I could definitely send this script to you, and then from there, I would kind of just ask DJ, okay, you don't got any friends or family, but just talk to me about yourself. Are you considered buying an investment property, or you thinking about doing anything in real estate as of late?
I've thought about it. I haven't really acted on it though yet.
Okay, I got you. I got you. So, what have you thought about as far as what you got on your mind? What you kind of thinking?
Just possibly renting my place out and moving a little bit further out.
Okay, moving further out. Where's further out that you've been eyeing? Are you going to a beach somewhere or somewhere tropical?
Not that exciting, just to another suburb.
Oh, okay. Hey, well, that could be exciting as well. That could definitely be exciting as well. You know, you probably can come there and cause chaos in the new neighborhood that you're moving into. You just never know. But
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
think your
okay.
delivery, I just really appreciate your delivery overall. It doesn't matter what I'm going to say, you're going to figure it out. And thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're so
I
welcome.
that's what I got too, DJ. Like Devonte is personable, you guys. Like this doesn't feel like I hate my life. And I guess Devonte, the reason you don't hate your life is you got something to live for. Like you got a reason you're doing this. Like you're helping people, yes, 100%. But in the process of helping people, you're helping yourself. You've got a family, you've got a vision for your life, and it makes it all that much easier to show up every day, to show up for yourself, to show up for them, and to help people. That's what I got out of this. And you are awesome at doing it. Will you pop in your contact information? We want to save you in our phone.
Of course.
However you want us to reach out to you, either whether that's email, phone, Instagram, wherever you're at. We want to find you. We want to stay in touch with you because you're a cool dude. You're a cool dude.
Well, this is my first time being on a panel, so this is quite
This is
nerve-wracking.
so good. Well, I'm so glad that this is a very friendly bunch of people. I trust me on that. And you're my second favorite. DJ is my first favorite, but you are my second favorite today. So, and maybe even forever. I don't know. We'll have to have you on again. You guys are phenomenal. We're slightly over time, but I hope this was fun. I wanted you guys to get an idea of what it feels like when you let that fear go and you come from a heart of service and you're doing it for something. So if you've hit a roadblock, talk to your team leader about maybe why you're hitting a roadblock. And do you have that thing that what's your why, right? Like I can sense Devonte's why. I really I get it. I would work with him. He's just a real good dude, right? Never in this conversation did I get a sense that he needed to sell me something. Now, does this mean Devonte doesn't have bills? I'm sure he has bills, just like the rest of us. But I never got that sense, and that's the goal. You're awesome. Appreciate you so much. We are all saving your contact information. And then if you want to send me over that script, I would love to deliver it to all of our agents and have your contact information sent over to them. So, guys, have a good rest of your day. You got 13 work weeks for 2024 ahead of us. Let's make it count. I will see you next week. We got some fun stuff coming up. Bye, guys. Have a good rest of your week.